Caitlin Clark spent her rookie season getting slammed, shoved, and swiped at by defenders who clearly mistook defense for WWE tryouts. But guess what? That era of open season on Caitlin Clark is officially over. The Indiana Fever have just upgraded from developing roster to you mess with our star, you better bring ice packs. The days of cheap shots are done, because the Indiana Fever just hired enforcers and sneakers. Say hello to the new Fever recruits, Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, Brianna Turner, and Dawana Bonner. These four aren't just experienced vets. They're physical, fearless, and fully ready to throw their weight around if anyone so much as breathes too hard on Clark. Angel Reese, Chennedy Carter, Asia Wilson, Dejanay Carrington. Yeah, you all might want to rethink those hard fouls. Because now, you're not just messing with Caitlin, you're going to have to go through the enforcer squad. This wasn't just about adding talent, it was a message. The Fever aren't content with competing, they're gunning for dominance. And they're doing it while making sure their franchise player doesn't have to eat the hardwood every time she crosses half court. Clark's haters have officially been put on notice. But sometimes you need one of those players on your team. You need one of those enforcers. Every good player, by the way, every good player, every good team has that is a super duper star. Most of the time have enforcer type players. Let's rewind and remember what the start of Caitlin Clark's WNBA journey really looked like. She stepped onto the court with the weight of the league's future on her back and delivered fireworks. But instead of being embraced, she got body-checked like she owed someone money. Instead of basketball, it looked like some players signed up for a hockey league. And make no mistake, this wasn't just rookie treatment. The level of physicality Clark faced bordered on targeted harassment. Game after game, she took elbows to the ribs, arms across the neck, and hips that somehow accidentally sent her flying. It didn't take long before the numbers confirmed what we already suspected. 17% of all flagrant fouls in the league were committed against Caitlin Clark. That's not a stat line. That's a flashing neon sign saying, "We're coming for you." Now let's talk villains. The Chicago Sky went full heel turn, delivering 80% of those flagrant fouls against Clark. Coincidence? Please. That's not defense. That's a mission. A mission to intimidate, rattle, and break her. And who led the charge? Angel Reese, of course, who proudly turned hard fouls into highlight reels. Reese straight up laid Clark out on a drive that left fans gasping, commentators squirming, and Clark. She got up, adjusted her ponytail, and calmly drained a three the next play. And Dejanay Carrington? Let's just say she's never met a hard foul she didn't like. The list of players trying to knock Clark off her game is long, but that list is about to meet its match. Remember when she denied even poking Clark in the eye because the Fever weren't about to let their generational superstar carry that burden alone again? So what do? They built a wall named Natasha, Sophie, Brianna, and Dawana. We're going to be Caitlin Clark Flasher, and so it's going to be phenomenal playing with a point guard, like you said, they have a good vision on the court, because that's like as soon as she get the ball in her hand, she throwing it up there, she already see the person down the court before she even get the ball in her hand. So that's one thing I love about her vision on the court. I really can't wait to catch all those passes and give her all this is that she needs. Let's start with Natasha Howard, the head of defense in this new Indiana regime. She's not just experienced, she's a 3-time WNBA champion and former Defensive Player of the Year. She's played with legends, guarded MVPs, and never backs down. She's the type of player who makes opponents think twice before trying anything shady. The minute she steps on the floor next to Clark, it's a whole new atmosphere. That extra shove from Carrington, that blindside screen from Wilson, not happening with Natasha in the building. The signing of Natasha Howard represents a massive step forward for the Indiana Fever and their quest for a championship. In Howard, the Fever gain a 3-time WNBA champion, a Defensive Player of the Year, an All-Star, and a veteran with more than 300 games play. Howard doesn't do subtle. She sends messages with blocks, boards, and the kind of mean mug that makes even the boldest forwards take a step back. She's here to anchor the defense and deliver a simple warning to anyone with dirty fouls on their mind. Try it. We dare you. But all of that, and we haven't yet touched upon what Howard does best. Defend. Howard was named Defensive Player of the Year in 2019 and has finished in the top 10 of the Defensive Player of the Year voting 3 times in her career. Howard has averaged at least 1 block and 1 steal per game in each of her last 7 seasons, and that versatility is really what makes her a weapon on defense. Last season, Caitlin Clark took hit after hit, literally. Defenders targeted her with reckless abandon, thinking they could push her around without facing any real consequences. But now, that fantasy is officially dead. The Indiana Fever went out and got serious muscle this offseason. Howard's arrival immediately changes everything. No more hard fouls without pushback. No more flagrant shots going unanswered. Now, when Clark steps onto the court, she's got a certified enforcer next to her. A champion, a defensive powerhouse, and someone who demands respect the moment she checks in. It's a whole new ballgame. Last season, with a minimum of 25 games played, Natasha Howard was one of just 13 players to average 18 points per game. She was one of 16 players to average 7 rebounds per game. And the list of players to average both 18 and 7 last year, shorts and elite. Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, Brittany Griner, and yes, Natasha Howard. But Natasha Howard isn't just here to throw elbows. She's also an elite two-way player. She's coming off a season where she averaged 17.6 points, 6.7 rebounds, and almost 3 assists per game. That's serious production. She's also a legit threat from deep, giving the Fever another floor spacer who can help open the lane for Clark's wizardry and Boston's post dominance. Howard's impact goes beyond the box score. She's a 3-time WNBA champion and a former Defensive Player of the Year. She knows what it takes to win at the highest level, and she's bringing that mindset to a young Indiana team that's hungry for a title. With over 50 playoff games under her belt, she's exactly the kind of steadying presence this team needs. And make no mistake, she's not just excited to be here, she's locked in. In her own words, "I'm excited to return to Indiana and bring my experience and toughness to the team. I want to help Caitlin and the Fever compete at the highest level." That's leadership. That's purpose. And that's exactly what Indiana was missing. The message is clear. If you're coming for Caitlin Clark, you better be ready for Natasha Howard. Now let's talk about another Fever addition who's going to make waves this season, Sophie Cunningham. If you thought Indiana was getting bullied last season, Cunningham is here to return the favor. This isn't just a player who can shoot threes. She's got the grit and toughness to stand her ground when things get physical. And in today's WNBA, that matters. Caitlin Clark was getting hit a lot. She was getting hit a lot early and they needed their Charles Oakley. You've got that in Sophie Cunningham. Cunningham's signing raised some eyebrows. After all, she was one of the faces of the Phoenix Mercury, a team many thought would try to recruit Clark. Instead, Clark helped bring her to Indiana. And make no mistake, this wasn't accidental. Clark knows exactly what kind of player she needs beside her. Cunningham brings the fire, and she brings it every night. There were so many videos of Sophie Cunningham just starting paroles. She's a sniper from beyond the arc, hitting 37.8% from 3 last season. That's elite. With Clark drawing double teams and Boston commanding the paint, Cunningham will be camped out on the perimeter, waiting to cash in. And when she gets hot, she's unstoppable, but it's her toughness that might matter most. Cunningham is a Taekwondo black belt. She plays with edge. She talks trash. She plays through contact. She's the kind of player who sets a tone, and opposing guards are going to think twice before trying to punk Clark this year. On paper, her numbers, 8.4 points, 3.9 rebounds, 2.0 assists, might not blow you away. But her impact goes far beyond stats. She's the glue player, the agitator, the clutch shot taker. She's not afraid of the moment, and she's not backing down from anybody. This addition changes Indiana's identity. With Cunningham on the wing, defenses can't collapse in the paint. If they do, she's punishing them from 3. And on the other end, she's going to get in opponents' faces, throw her body around and let them know. The Fever aren't getting pushed around anymore. And we haven't even talked about the chemistry yet. Cunningham's fiery leadership alongside Clark's cool under pressure. That's the perfect blend of fire and ice. When Clark gets hard-fouled or trash-talked, Cunningham will be the first one in the ref's ear. And maybe in the opponent's face too. I learned so much out in Phoenix. I was really blessed to have some really great, teammates. You get to learn from the GOAT, Diana Taurasi. You had a lot of people going in and out of that program. They won championships. And so there's just a lot to learn. And together, Howard and Cunningham are doing more than just protecting Clark. They're creating a culture where tough physical play is matched, not tolerated. A culture where the league's rising star is surrounded by teammates who won't let her get roughed up for being great. Brianna Turner might be the most underrated enforcer in the entire WNBA. And now she's suiting up with the Indiana Fever. If Natasha Howard is the muscle, Turner is the lockdown specialist. With back-to-back all-defensive first-team selections in 2020 and 2021, she's made a career out of shutting down opponents and protecting the paint like her life depends on it. She's not flashy, but she's brutally effective. Opposing players don't drive into the lane when Turner's waiting. They think twice, pivot out, and pray she's not lurking nearby. And now, she's on Caitlin Clark's side, standing at 6'3" with elite athleticism and a defensive IQ that rivals the league's best. Turner is a human fly swatter. In 2020, she ranked second in the league in blocks, and her 2021 campaign was just as impressive, finishing top 6 in both offensive and defensive rebounds. But she's not just a stats machine, she's a tone setter, a culture changer. In a league where physicality is part of the game, Turner doesn't flinch. She embraces the contact, takes pride in stopping elite scorers, and does it all with a quiet intensity that commands respect. What makes Turner such a perfect fit for Indiana isn't just her skill, it's her mindset. She's a winner who brings grit, hustle, and that no-nonsense defensive mentality every championship team needs. And with the league's dirtiest players circling like vultures, Clark now has yet another wall of protection. The Fever didn't just get deeper, they got tougher. Add Turner to the mix, and suddenly the paint looks like a no-fly zone. Indiana's sending a message loud and clear. You mess with Clark, you're going to meet a defensive nightmare. And the fandom was great when I was in South Bend, and I know obviously Fever fans are known to fill up Gainbridge for a house, so I'm really excited for that. I mean, I would say Indiana is such a big basketball state. The fan bases, they go full out for their teams. I've only been here a couple of days, and I've been stopped out in the public. People actually really play for us. Say the Fever, like, oh my God, the Fever, like, and they get really excited. So it's really fun to have a community that's so excited about their local sports team. Duana Bonner's arrival is not only for Caitlin Clark's protection, but for redefining Indiana's entire game strategy. Bonner doesn't just bring firepower. She brings basketball IQ that's off the charts. She reads the floor like a seasoned coach and knows exactly where to be, when to rotate, and how to shut down elite scorers. That kind of on-court awareness is something you can't teach overnight. And for a Fever team that's packed with raw talent but still growing into its identity, having someone like Bonner guiding them is priceless. Our first game at Indiana, we gotta get a win. Her leadership doesn't stop on the hardwood either. Bonner is known for mentoring younger players behind the scenes, pulling them aside during practice, dissecting film sessions, offering veteran advice after tough games. She's the kind of locker room presence that every championship team needs. And now, Clark, Boston, and the rest of the Fever get to soak in that knowledge every single day. The media might focus on the big names, the flashy plays, and the record-breaking stats, but these are the behind-the-scenes moves that build dynasties. What excites you the most about this team that you're going to be joining? I mean, they have dynamic pieces in CC and Kelsey Mitchell and AB, Lexi Hall. I mean, they have a great core, so why not just add to that, try to take us to the next level in the playoffs. They were in first round, and I played against them in the first round, and the way they came back the second game, it just makes you excited to, okay, I want to be a part of that. They didn't lay down and quit. They came back and actually, try to beat us, or that in the next games. Now, let's be honest. Clark doesn't need anyone to hold her hand. She's already proven she can take hits, shake them off, and keep on scoring. But what she does need is a supporting cast that can elevate her impact. That's where Bonner comes in. She's not here to take over, she's here to amplify. With her length and versatility, Bonner can switch onto guards, disrupt passing lanes, and turn defense into instant offense. That kind of transition game is going to be deadly with Clark leading the break. And can we talk about the clutch factor? Bonner has ice in her veins. When the game is on the line, she doesn't flinch. Her resume is filled with game winners, momentum-shifting plays, and lockdown defensive sequences in crunch time. Just imagine the 1-2 punch of Clark setting up plays and Bonner finishing them with dagger jumpers or coast-to-coast drives. It's not just dangerous, it's championship material. Let's not forget her off-court presence too. Bonner is a walking highlight reel with a fan base that spans both coasts. Her name brings credibility. Her reputation brings respect. When she puts on a Fever jersey, it signals to the league that Indiana isn't just hoping to compete, they're demanding it. Opposing teams that thought they could bully Clark with cheap shots and flagrant fouls, that ship has sailed. Now there's a front line of veterans who won't let that nonsense slide. Bonner, Howard, Turner, Cunningham, they're forming a wall around Clark, and they're daring anyone to try and break through it, and all of this matters even more because of what's coming. The WNBA schedule is packed with high-stakes matchups, nationally televised games, and playoff implications that could shift in an instant. The pressure is already mounting, but now, instead of Clark being isolated and targeted, she's got a battle-hardened squad ready to back her up. That changes everything. It changes the way opponents game plan. It changes the tone of every matchup. And it sends a message to every would-be bully in the league. Indiana's not the soft target anymore. So while fans are hyped about Clark's threes, Aaliyah Boston's post moves, Kelsey Mitchell's scoring and Lexi Hull's hustle, don't overlook what Bonner brings to this team. She's the anchor, the stabilizer, the difference maker. And now that she's in Indiana, the Fever are no longer just an exciting up-and-comer. They're a nightmare for any team hoping for an easy win. This squad is deeper, tougher, and hungrier than ever, and they've got the veteran firepower to prove it. With this lineup, the Fever are no longer chasing greatness. They're demanding it.